Hey everybody, Jesse with American Beef Ranch. Today we're out in the Polaris General 1000 and we're working on one of our irrigation pivots. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the ranch. Thanks for stopping in and watching this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and do all those things down there. It really helps the channel and I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping in. So today, it's a beautiful day. It's finally feels like spring is upon us. This is the first day where I've been outside. The wind hasn't blown and there's sunshine. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. So, like I said, we're out here working on one of our irrigation pivots. Here we have some work to do over here on this wheel. Not necessarily the wheel itself, but the gearbox back here that drives this wheel is bad. It is completely toast. At the end of last year, this drive shaft actually broke off because there was so much force, and then I had to put it on just so we could get it out of the field and get it to the edge of the field. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to change this gearbox out. I'll talk a little bit about how they work, and yeah, let's get to it. Okay guys, so it's pretty simple. There's an electric motor back there, and that electric motor turns a drive shaft. That drive shaft then spins this gearbox here. This gearbox has a helical gear in it that turns the tires at a very reduced rate, so there's a lot of torque. These electric motors in the center, which we call center drives, right here, are actually very low horsepower. Typically, they're between 3/4 and 1 1/4 horsepower, depending on the pivot and the specs that you have. So this pivot here waters approximately 20 acres under its span, and in this part of the world where I'm located, South Central Idaho, everything is irrigated. Every crop ground is pretty much irrigated, and without irrigation, we wouldn't have anything. So it's really important to us as regenerative farmers that we use the water in the best way that we possibly can. That means pressurized irrigation, but that also means pivots. Pivots, although expensive to start up with, are definitely the most efficient means of irrigating crop ground. By far none. I would much rather work on pivots than have any other form of pressurized irrigation to work with. So this is one of our 5. We're going to go ahead and get started. First we got to jack it up and get the wheel taken off, and we just got a lot of work to do. So step 1 when changing a gearbox is we got to get the tire off. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so we got our Milwaukee M18 impact gun. This makes changing pivot tires so much better. Before this, changing pivot tires was miserable. Now it's not near as bad. I'm gonna go ahead and save these lug nuts because I actually know we're missing one somewhere. Okay, the next step is to take the tire off. Okay, now with the tire off, you guys can see this system better. So basically, you see the drive shaft, the electric motor over there, it turns these drive shafts, both of them at the same time. The drive shaft is then connected through 2 U-joints to the gearbox. And then the gearbox in here has a helical gear here that spins a cylindrical gear in here. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop off this U-joint, and then I'll show you. We should be able to spin this over by hand, but unfortunately this one is locked up and is pretty nasty. Okay, another Milwaukee M18 tool. This is the 3/8 compact impact gun. It's good for things. It's really good for smaller stuff like this, and it's got quite a bit of power. I don't even have it turned up. It's got quite a bit of power for its size, which is handy. I use it a lot more than I use the big 1/2 incher, but they're still really nice to both have. Definitely recommend if you're working on pivots. We'll just let that hang. And this one is really it's stuck. But we're gonna reuse this U-joint because there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop it off here, and we will reuse it. Hopefully it pops off. And I think the #1 rule of changing pivot gearboxes is always bring the hammer. Ah, well, crud. Okay, so we're just gonna forget about that for now because I have extra U-joints, and I will rescue this one later because these guys right now are about 30 bucks a piece. So any of them that are good that I can save is money that the ranch saves. This gearbox is basically scrap metal. There's no way to like rebuild them or redo them. Originally, back in the day, when these pivots were built, you know, back in when they were first coming out in like the 70s and 80s, gearboxes were made in America and they lasted a lot longer. Now, obviously, they're coming from China and they just don't last as long. Okay, so now we're on the back side of this, and you can see we got some mounting bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're in a wonderful spot to get to. And so these ones obviously we can get to pretty easy. These two up here are always difficult, and some pivots just have random pieces of metal like this that are in the way that don't do anything, and we could cut that off and make it easier. But I'm gonna fight with it and not cut it off and just get it done. So I would not normally use my 3/8 compact Milwaukee to take this off, but I'm gonna try it. Just see, I've got it on max takeoff. Well, it got it off. That's pretty impressive. That's a... Got 2 of them. And I can't really get into that one. Un momento. Yeah, with all the extensions and stuff, it just doesn't have the same amount of torque. But it is able to get those 2 of them off, which is pretty impressive. Yes, I know it's not impact rated, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Last one. And there we go. Okay, so we want to note what holes were used. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Because, you know, obviously there's a multiple different holes that could be used. These things are really heavy if you didn't know this, guys. So we're going to be using that hole, that hole, that hole, that hole, and that hole. I'm going to get a screwdriver. Clean the, oh yeah, it's just a little junky dirt and stuff. Okay, so this is a 2-person job, but a long time ago Grandpa made these because everybody ended up doing them by themselves, it seemed like. And these little, we had 2 of them and we used to put them in top, but I don't really like that generally. I like to just use one, and I don't screw it in but more than like 1 thread. And basically it's just to help get it lined up, because these things are awfully heavy. Awfully heavy. Oh, terrible camera guy. Sorry. Okay, so that's in there good enough. Get you guys set up. So now you guys get to watch me struggle. I got my bolts staged, because if you don't, this is already not a good fun job. And the goal is to get all of the bolts started. Otherwise, it's a real pain in the butt. I mean, it's already enough of a pain in the butt. Okay. So, next thing, we'll get that stud out of there. Go ahead and take that guy out. And swap it for a bolt. And then we'll snug them up. Now, I like to just snug them up first. And then go back and get them all torqued. So now we can hit them all a little bit. Okay, so we got our new gearbox. Now we have our new U-joint. Like I said, I have extras because extras are good to have. I'm gonna try to put it on the same way that it came off. And yeah, it should be pretty simple because this is brand new. And you guys see, I can easily turn this by hand. Yeah, this gearbox is in much better shape. Make sure we could be slid out even, I think. Yeah, no, we better slide her in. Go ahead and torqued. You gotta remember what way it goes. So with pivots, there's two different size drive shafts. There's 3/4 and there's 7/8. This U-joint, the reason I like them and when I change U-joints I use these is because it accepts both. So, you know, no matter what pivot I have, I'm able to use the same parts. I think this one goes. Yep. Yep, that one goes like that. And okay. Here what we're trying to do is, because this drive shaft you see fits in there. We just want to try to make sure we're even as we can be on these. It's not super critical. It's not, like I said, they turn at a very slow speed, so it's not super critical. Everything's balanced or anything like that. Final job is to put our tire back on. So I got our big boy back out. Just like always, there'll be links in the descriptions. Link in the description to all of this stuff. Okay folks, there we have it. We've got a new gearbox. We're all ready to go. This pivot should be good to set to go. The next thing is once we get water, we'll flush this guy and we should be ready to go. And then hopefully we can go ahead and get this cleaned up here and planted, because only the top side over here is planted. We'd love to get this planted too and add it in. Obviously the pivot hits it, and we just a little cleaning to do, and it's another 8 or 10 acres that we're gonna be watering, which is gonna be, you know, good. That helps that bottom line. We already got the pivot here. It's going to do it, so you might as well get her planted. So we're going to head down, because I know we have one bad U-joint that I need to go fix on another pivot. So we're going to head over there and work on that guy. Man, guys, I really do. We didn't want to buy a side by, well, I didn't want to buy a side by side at the time, but I am really glad we bought a side by side. It's just been really handy. This Polaris General 1000, I do like it. There's probably better farm machines, but like a fun machine and a farm machine, this is a good one. They are kind of expensive though, so there is that. So I'm gonna show you guys this, but you can probably imagine we have a couple problems here. Okay, number one, does anybody see what might be wrong here? I don't know. It's gonna be covered up probably in the shadow. Okay, number one, this pivot track is very deep and we are rubbing. That's a problem. We're gonna have to do something about this. There are some new wheels of tires available that don't have air in them, that are supposed to help fill pivot tracks, but they cost about $2,200 for each tower. But we may have to do it. I mean, that tower up there is not so bad, but still, I mean, $6,600, and we don't ever have to worry about tires again. They're supposed to be a really good solution. Number two is that U-joint right there probably doesn't work very good. And I don't know if that's a slip joint, if it's welded or what, but this is the bigger drive shaft. You guys can see that's a 7/8 drive shaft. And I don't think I can fix this today. Well, I think that, but I gotta go get a hammer. I don't have a hammer with me, so maybe I should go grab a hammer. Probably should. Man, I didn't realize how deep this pivot track was. This is really bad. That base beam is literally laying on the ground. So we're definitely probably gonna have to put that different set of tires right here. Because this is way too deep, and driving equipment over this is just rough. And you can see this spot right here is pretty bad, but then you get up over here and there's spots that aren't bad. And that all just depends on, you know, how deep the soil is, you know, what's in the soil, things like that. But we got some rocks up here. Like there's probably a strip of rock right through here, and that's why it's not near as bad. Field is looking pretty brown though. But this is the first like warm sunny day that we've had. So I would expect, you know, we're supposed to get a couple more days of it. I would expect this to green up pretty quickly. You can see there's some green in here. Here's some grass that's greening up. This is some orchard grass. See, this is a spot of orchard grass, and it's greening up on the bottom and underneath it. So it's coming. It's just going to be a little slow, which is fine. We're not going to harvest this for another 7 weeks, probably 1st of June, 1st or 2nd week of June. Got a couple rocks I need to get out of here. Push these over here in a pile. Yeah, we do definitely have some more rock picking to do up in this field. We haven't got to this field yet. We're still working on some of the other ones. And then we're trying to take out some of this stuff, but I don't know if it's going to happen yet this year, because it may happen this fall, because we got to do some, hopefully soon we'll know if we can do our big project. If we do our big project, this stuff isn't going to get done. Honestly, right now I'm planning on the big project happening. My only goal really for these fields is to fertilize them with some of our organic regenerative fertilizer. We should have some fertilizer videos coming. We had a customer, we picked up a customer that's, well, we had them last year, but they're doing quite a bit more acres, and hopefully we can get you guys some fertilizer content, and those videos, it'll kind of show you how the commercial market fertilizes typically. But basically I think that's a cool thing about our product is you don't really need any special equipment. It's just organic components that completely replace chemical fertilizer, but you don't need any special equipment to really handle it or any of that stuff. So if you're a commercial guy, or you're somebody that's worried about using a different fertilizer because you have to do something different, or you have to have special equipment, our product's probably for you, because you literally don't have to do anything to change literally anything. Like it applies the same way, we think about it the same way, we take soil samples. My wholesaler, they're pretty good about it. I disagree with my wholesaler sometimes about the biological aspects of soil, but that stuff is still a good base to get people headed in the right direction, and it has a lot of stuff that the chemical market has forgot about. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.